All right, so I've done a bunch of videos on how to propagate elderberry, but I've never really done an update on what those elderberry cuttings look like after a while. So I'm gonna do an update here on elderberry cuttings. Come join me in the chaos. All right, here's my first example of what they look like. So elderberry cutting, as you can see down here, shoved it in the ground, forgot about it. And now I see just green popping up. So early spring, a few random weeds and some blackberries and other things waking up. And of course the elderberry is just taking off. Got little hops coming up everywhere. I gotta pull those out. Another elderberry. They're so easy to spot. And I'll show you the difference between the ones that I planted in early winter. So I did some cuttings early winter and I did some more late winter. The early winter ones must have rooted out better because they're putting out tons of growth. But I'm noticing the ones that I planted early winter. Here's another one. Raspberry, ignore that. Another one. Another one. Another one. And again, that's just taking a cutting like I showed in my other videos. With the dormant trimmings, and you literally just shove it in the ground, and that's what it'll look like in spring. Super easy process. I'm going to give you an example of what they look like if you plant them or if you shove them in the ground late winter. So again, this is what they look like if you plant them, shove them in the ground early winter to give their root system time to slowly put out some little roots. And of course I mounded a lot of wood chips around them. So imagine the root system is staying at a growing temperature, even though it's cold out. The roots were able to get started first. And that's very important if you want them to be vigorous and be able to outcompete all the weeds and other things that are going to try to grow around it. So that's planted early winter. All right, here's an example of the ones that I planted late winter. So they still work, they'll still grow. They just seem to grow a lot slower. I just barely put these in right before spring. Another one. Another one. Pretty easy process. I literally just, like I said, shove them in the ground. Another one. So the cool thing about elderberry is it's a nitrogen fixer. So if you have depleted soil, they'll turn air into fertilizer. At least that's their life cycle. Another one. You get the idea. I'm not going to make you look at every single one. I have like hundreds of these. Some of them are a little bit more spindly than others. But as you can tell, the ones that you do early winter, at least in zone 6, seem to turn out a little better. There's one on your side of the fence. Some of these were so fat I actually put them in like that one. See how the back's kind of pounded out? I used a sledgehammer to put some of the big ones in. Kind of curious if that works. And yes, you can put them in. You can put these things in with a sledgehammer if you want. So my elderberry patch in the back, it puts out canes on the bases. They'll be a good 1.5 to 2 inches wide. So those ones, you can pound them in with a sledgehammer if you want to. That's pretty much the only way to get them in the ground. So yeah, I hope that helps inspire you to want to grow elderberry. And again, if you don't have something growing, you might as well have something growing. So shove some elderberry cuttings in the ground. It's nice to grow your own medicine. Thanks for joining me in the chaos.